Oscar Wilde. Now you're talking.
Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I have no plans of doing the videos about the wild robot because mostly due to the fact that I lost interest and lack of motivation. But even though it's too late to do my own trailer thoughts, I have to do this right now because they did an announcement of DreamWorks is going to make a sequel to The Wild Robot. Well, I will not be doing my trailer thoughts on it, but instead my thoughts of this film having a sequel so soon. And you know what this kind of reminds me of? DreamWorks announcing they're making a sequel to The Bad Guys, which has been announced back in last year, if I remember. I'm at a loss of words, but I do know that a sequel of The Bad Guys is coming out next year. And this is becoming strange. First The Bad Guys, and now The Wild Robot? Something tells me that somewhere around DreamWorks that they're starting making they're making sequels to these two recent films that already has been critically praised and whatnot. In fact, both of these films are still new. Like, again, this is strange. DreamWorks is starting making sequels to these films that's already been new. I think DreamWorks is starting to become more wise up and to choose which movie deserves to get sequel, like this one, and which doesn't, like that one. If you watch my Megamind video and judging by the view count, it's to say that barely any of you ever saw it on my YouTube account or on TikTok. I mentioned that there are some DreamWorks films that got a sequels, others do not. And I'll repeat some stuff. Not all of it, but there are a few movies that I mentioned there that should get sequels. And what are those films that I will be mentioning? Well, pretty simple. Like, where is a sequel to Over the Hedge? Where is a sequel to Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken? And where is a sequel to Captain Underpants, to the first epic movie? And before you ask, yes, I am highly aware that DreamWorks is doing a movie on Dogman. And I might do my trailer thoughts on that film, but let's just say that I do not like the Paw Patrol movie and its sequel, but yeah, I'll give DreamWorks an excuse and whatsoever. I really do think this is really impressive. Anyways, how is it that we live in a world where films like Madagascar, which is actually a good movie by the way, don't add me, but it does have a mixed reception back then. Again, I like the movie, but it did have a mixed reception. Trolls was just mid, the anti-Inside Out, and even The Boss Baby gotten sequels, where even though The Boss Baby was the appetizer, Captain Underpants was a full course. So let me ask you this. How come these films like Trolls and The Boss Baby gotten a sequel, while other films like Over the Hedge or Captain Underpants did not? Well, I think Mr. Code has just said it best about them.
Even Shrek they knew to stop at the fourth chapter, despite it still generating a lot of box office dollars. You may scoff at Madagascar or Trolls or The Boss Baby getting sequels greenlit, but they were audience crowd pleasers, much as that may annoy animation Twitter. Even though animation nerds think they have some say in the box office results, they really don't. It's families and the general public who control what movies are hits and become franchises, and which ones just become cult favorites.
Not counting the Shrek part, it's the audience and the people that is in control. We control which films deserve to become a franchise and which others do not. And since everyone fell in love with The Bad Guys and that it made money at the box office, I think that this film is getting a sequel next year, so get ready for that. And what applies to The Bad Guys, also applies to the Wild Robot, and both of them are based on books. Again, I haven't seen the Wild Robot, and there's a chance I might be able to watch it for the future, but let's just say there's a tight chance that it might win an Oscar. That so it is a high chance that it would been out Inside Out 2.
What?
Listen, all I can say about Inside Out 2 at the Oscars, let's just say that it won't be as lucky as Toy Story 4 at the Oscars. This will be a standalone video, I promise. Anyways, back to the main topic. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but I will admit the animation looks absolutely amazing. And Roz, this robot right here that also shares the same name as, well, Roz from Monsters Inc. And I see that she's experiencing a lot of the other animals, and she apparently talks in this film. And I feel like this film is basically WALL-E, but without the garbage and more life in with the nature, you know? Wouldn't it more better if Roz just was acting more like WALL-E, you know? As well, WALL-E himself. Where even though WALL-E can talk, most of the time he just makes some noises and say only one word and whatnot. And yes, I know Baymax, this one right here, can also talk. But the thing is, in Big Hero 6, it actually works in its favor because Baymax can interact with the main character, Hiro Hamada, if I'm correct. In WALL-E, alongside with Eve, they do talk. It's more like but again, they're making noises instead of words. And since this film is mostly silent, it actually works in this film's favor. So here's my question: would the Wild Robot be better if Roz didn't talk and have the animals do the talking? I know it would be more annoying, but don't you think it sounds better on paper? Don't you think? Look, it's just a nitpick. Again, I haven't seen the Wild Robot, so this would explain why I'm pretty much new to this whole film. But the point is that since the film was amazing with audiences everywhere, it's getting a sequel. So, am I open with the idea? I haven't seen the film, but I'm okay with that. I do find this very, very interesting that two new DreamWorks films from the 2020 decade, this decade as right now, is getting sequels so soon because the people watched these two movies and they fell in love with it. But where are they at Universal theme parks? Again, I know I'm getting off topic, but these two should have been seen at Universal theme parks. I mean, Universal owns DreamWorks. I think it would be fine if these characters would just show up at Universal theme parks. You know, I'm just saying. But again, I do find it very surprising that DreamWorks is making sequels to those two films that is literally based on a book. This isn't the first time, and something tells me that this will not be the last. And I think that's all I have to say about this. I haven't seen both the Wild Robot or the Bad Guys. I mean, I saw the first snippet of it, but I never actually watched the entire movie, and let me tell you, I know what happens with the Bad Guys because I've already been spoiled a thousand times. So all I can say now is that these two are having sequels, but mostly with the Wild Robot because with the Bad Guys, it's good that it's getting a sequel. With the Wild Robot, I'm actually very surprised that it's getting a sequel. So that's all I have to say, and I bid you guys farewell.